do you think that the foreign players are catching up and passing their American counterpart?
I mean, I guess anything's possible. I guess that could happen. I
Hmm.
don't think that's what's going to happen.
What do
I
you
mean,
think?
the foreign players, the foreign players that have won MVP, they have a better skill set than their American counterparts. That part is a fact. That's
Yeah.
true.
Hmm.
I think that's a fact.
Hmm.
But they're like goats in their country. I mean, they are head and shoulders above where they're coming from.
Right, 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 right.
So I do think that if you took a top flight American team
Hmm.
and a top, well, we see it in the Olympics. But to answer your question, I do think that it's going to be more common,
Hmm.
or become, very common, that you're going to have a lot more foreign players that are going to, uh, are going to be better than American players. The problem with and I'm not as familiar. I know you played ball and you have a son who just came out of that system, so you're much more, five times more about it than I do. If AAU, I believe that if AAU didn't make money for people that
Mm.
have formed these leagues, we wouldn't have an AAU. It'd be the way it is. But they're
Right,
making too much money that between them and the athletic companies that sponsor these kids, the money is more important to them than the sport.
right, right, right,
And so as long as they keep making money, sport be damned.
right.
And you can see in the NBA. I mean, many of the games have been exciting. Even
Mm.
some of the blowouts have been exciting
Add some entertainment in them. Yeah,
and some
yeah.
entertainment in them. But if I had the choice of watching, I'm trying to think of a good game that was that game, the New York Pacers game, the Knicks
Mm.
Pacers game, where the Pacers came back and won in overtime.
Halliburton. He'll take it. He'll backpedal a three for the win. And oh! He got
If I had a choice for watching that game and watching the Reggie Miller game.
Miller for three, and he got it. Reggie Miller with a clutch tray, and it's 105-102. And a steal. Miller retreats to the three-point line and hits again.
And I'm not saying this as a boomer. I'm just saying this as a fact. I would prefer the style of play of that. And they were shooting threes still then. It was a 3-point game, but they weren't shooting all threes.
Right, right, right,
You
right,
know,
right.
it got to be the point, like when people drive the lane now,
Hmm.
and I'm saying this as a fan, as somebody sitting on the couch. It used to be people drive the lane and they're either going to go to the hoop
Hmm.
themselves, or they may go behind their back to someone cutting or throw an alley oop or something like that. Very seldom. A lot of times when people were kicking out, it was like, oh, they got themselves in trouble.
Right.
You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean?
That
Yeah,
was back in the day. Yeah. Oh, they
yeah,
got
yeah.
himself in
Like
trouble. Yep.
they left their feet and they don't have anywhere to go with it, and they throw the
Yeah.
ball back.
Yeah.
Now that's a design play. Great, I understand. It makes sense.
Mhm.
But I'm not that style of play, penetrating and kicking out for three. It
Yeah.
doesn't do it for me.
Right.
It doesn't
Right.
do it for me like the other game.
Hmm.
And the European play, or some of those Europe players from overseas, a lot of them come out of Europe, some come from other countries. That like your Jokic and SGA and some others, and
Luca,
he's coming from Canada, but
Giannis.
yeah,
Yeah.
they seem to have, again. Let me not go against what I said a few minutes ago.
Hmm.
They are Jokic is Serbian, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's serving. Yeah.
yeah. I don't think there are five Serbian players that are going to be like making all-star teams here. He is like a freak, okay?
Gotcha.
But that said, all of these players we're talking about seem to have really great vision and
Hmm.
understand where the court is and different things that some of their American counterparts here
Hmm.
have seemed to have neglected, and they don't care as much about, and that's why they are winning MVPs, and these other people are just becoming, role players.
So I'm gonna leave that at that. But I also want to ask you, Jalen Brunson. You talk about going to the hole. You said that you have a problem with like the way he plays. You like the way he plays, But what's the problem that you have with the way he plays?
He's just frustrating to me. That's all. He's just frustrating me. I have nothing.
What's frustrating though? What's frustrating about it?
He shouldn't be as good as he is. He shouldn't be as good as he is. I mean, he just to me, that's all. He just doesn't look he's just better than he should be. Just by the way he looks. That's it. It's totally asinine, this take. I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying it's a good criticism. I'm just saying he is not like, if I'm in the lab designing my superstar player, I don't want him to look like Jalen Brunson. I'm not trying to. I don't like that game. I just don't like that game.
Gotcha.
But I will say, and I think I said this last time, if he's probably one of 5 players that if we need a shot at the end of the game, I'm putting the ball in his hands.
NIL. Do you think NIL is ruining? Excuse me. Do you think NIL is destroying college football and college basketball?
That's too strong. I don't think it's destroying it.
Do you think it's ruining it?
I don't think it's. I don't think it's being managed in the best way. And I don't have an answer. Don't ask. I don't have an answer for it. Okay, but I don't like, as a fan, as a consumer, I don't like. I like teams that stay together. That's all. Yeah. But if, again, it's like if I were a player, or if I had a son or daughter that were players, I would hate for them to be stuck in a place where they couldn't prosper, or they could go somewhere else and either make more money or get more playing time, or whatever reason they want to hit the transfer portal or whatever. But the NIL thing, I'm suspect of it. I don't know if it's ruining the game or any of that. I don't know about that. It's just, it's a different thing. But I'm suspect of it because I never lose sight of the fact that when money is being thrown around, the people giving out the money are making more. They're not giving these kids this money and not, if it wasn't profitable for them to do it, it wouldn't be happening.
Right.
And my concern is that I'm ruining the game. I don't know. It's probably just different. I mean, again, I grew up in, with most people stayed in school 4 years, and I was fans of those teams, and I got to know about their chemistry, and I don't think it's ruining it. I think there are going to be some kids who aren't going to be able to, who it may negatively affect, but that's just on them as people, as their maturity. There's going to be some kids who are going to make a lot of money who aren't going to be able to handle it. That's just human nature.
What I find bothersome about it is that the majority of what people hear is from the coaches and the analysts. And one thing the coaches and the analysts don't talk about is the amount of money that these conferences are getting paid. Like you said, somebody's getting paid.
Right.
These coaches are getting $5 to $6 million a year. And they saying that it's hard to coach a player. One particular coach said it doesn't make any sense for a freshman to be making more than a senior. My thing is pay the senior more. What I'm hearing is they are saying a lot of things that have a flip side. And the only thing people are hearing is one side of it. And you now have guys like AJ DeBonsta going to BYU, and he's getting $8 million for the season at BYU. I look at NIL for leveling the playing field. I look at NIL when you see a school like BYU, or you see a team, I don't know what these guys are getting paid with the collective at High Point University, but they put all that money into High Point University, and now they got to March Madness. So I really wish that a lot of times these analysts, they really take the time and talk about both sides of it, because I'm looking at them really, really trying to blame everything on NIL and not looking at how shady the NCAA has been when it comes to that, Yeah. So that is my thought on that. And I want people to stop saying something like you talk about those guys in the barbershop. Stop saying that it's ruining it when you don't even know how they were pimping our players before. So,
Right.
and that's the biggest thing I have with it.
Right. Well, the biggest, the coaches, I mean, you're going to ask a coach. I mean, if I were interviewing a coach and it came up, I would certainly ask them. But they're just not credible sources of information for their opinions.
Mm-hmm.
Many of them are the highest paid employees in their state.
Mm-hmm.
Like Belichick in your state, North Carolina.
Yeah, he's the highest paid state employee. Nick Saban, Alabama. He was making $11 million a year. LSU's coach, Georgia's coach. These guys are making all that money. How do you think they're going to make that money? They got to make it by getting talent. And these guys are putting money in your pocket. Have you seen the locker room at some of these universities?
I have.
Woo,
I have.
man. I would do my homework there. I'd be in the weight room. Look, these things are like lifetime places on steroids.
Have you ever seen the facilities at Oregon?
Yeah, well, now there's on another level. That's that Nike money right there. That's that Nike money. Hey, look, before we go, I want to ask you this. What do you think about Michael Jordan going to be commentating games next season for the NBA? He's going to be an analyst.
My first impression, the first thing my mind went to was, you remember when OJ did Monday Night Football?
Yeah.
He wasn't that good.
Right.
I mean, I'm just saying, Michael Jordan has never struck me, even on The Last Dance. My man wasn't necessarily, I mean, he had a few good one-liners and all zingers and stuff, but now is he doing games or is he doing like the studio?
I was thinking there was going to be both.
He'd be all right in the studio.
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah, but on the sideline during games, I really see Mike really talking shit about some of these players.
Well, I wouldn't mind that. I really wouldn't mind that. It might be kind of entertaining if he were, but I have not ever heard Mike. I've never, like I said, even in a situation like in The Last Dance, the clips of what Michael Jordan had to say were never riveting to me. Michael Jordan I never cared about what Michael Jordan had to say about much. I mean, I really didn't. Now, I'm interested in his point of view because he's the GOAT. He's the greatest of all time. You know what I mean? And it would be funny if he had a delivery if he was like a Barkley type, but he was like be joning on people because they had no game. That would crack me up. I'd love that.
I see him being more like Isaiah Thomas. That's what I see him being.
Another one. See, I never really cared for Isaiah behind the mic. To tell you the truth.
Really?
I never really did. I don't miss him. I like Reggie Miller. I used to like, and I know he gets on people's nerves. Oh, what's his name? The point guard for the Knicks. He used to coach Golden State.
Oh, you don't like Mark Jackson?
No, I do like Mark Jackson.
Oh, yeah, I like. Okay.
Yeah. So I was about to say I was naming the people that I like.
Okay, Mark.
I like
Jackson,
Reggie Miller. I like Mark Jackson.
Were you a Bill Walton fan?
Oh, I love Bill Walton.
Okay.
I love Bill Walton because
some people didn't like Bill Walton. I like Bill Walton because he knew what he was talking about.
Yeah.
The three-time most outstanding player. His resume was tight. What I liked about Bill Walton, it sounded like he was high and just loving life when he came in there. But you can see his last few years, he just didn't care. He was showing up with the tie-dye shirts on again. What do you think about Doris Burke? I know a lot of people don't like
I like Doris Burke.
Yeah, okay.
I think she knows. I mean, Doris Burke, I like Doris Burke. She knows her stuff, in my opinion. I like Doris Burke.
Right.
I like, Doris Burke, Mike Breen. I like all those people. But athletes-wise, I'll tell you who's not really my and it's not really his fault. It's just the way his speaking pattern is.
I hear you that people want his interview and that there's whoever gets it is a winner of the LeBron James sweepstakes.
Richard Jefferson.
Yeah, I'm not a Richard Jefferson fan, but that's just because he's so corny. That's all.
Yeah, I don't like Richard Jefferson either. I think he's corny as well. And also in that video, you had Big Perk. Big Perk is right every now and then.
Yeah.
But for me, sometimes Big Perk, he gets a little too down south for me.